Jiang Dongsu is a notorious crime lord who rules the Cheonan underworld with an iron fist. Unlike other bosses who just sit back and give orders, Jiang prefers to let his fists do the talking. Built like a heavyweight tank and always dressed in sharp suits, he is as brutal as he is stylish. To him, violence is just a tool to keep order, and anyone who dares to cross him pays a steep price in blood. He commands an army of thousands, yet despite his terrifying reputation, he nearly meets his end when he gets ambushed and stabbed by a mysterious stranger. But this attacker isn't a rival gangster. He is a venomous snake lurking in the shadows. He kills not for money or revenge, but for the sheer, sick thrill of it. Armed with a hidden knife and a chilling smile, he's the only one crazy enough to declare war on both the underworld and the law. This forces Jiang into an unlikely alliance. He has to team up with a cop to hunt this maniac down. But don't get it twisted, this isn't a friendship. They make a high-stakes deal. Whoever catches the devil first gets to decide his fate. He'll either face the court of law or the brutal justice of the streets. It all begins on a quiet, deserted night in Cheonan, South Korea. On a lonely stretch of road, a minor fender bender takes place. The victim just wants to record the damage for insurance, looking to avoid any trouble. But the other driver stays silent, just standing there, waiting. As soon as the man lets his guard down, the stranger ruthlessly stabs him to death and quietly vanishes. The murder hits the news fast. This isn't the first time. Plenty of missing persons reports have been filed recently. But this killer is a pro, clean, fast, and leaving zero trace. So the police are still completely in the dark. Meanwhile, Detective Jung Tae-seok is stuck in traffic on his way to the scene. He spots some gangsters and heads toward their gambling den, but the thugs block his path, refusing to let a cop inside. As a last resort, they try to bribe him with cash to make him leave, but Tae-seok isn't interested. He beats them down and storms inside to bust a young punk for illegally cashing out game tickets, not realizing he just walked into Jiang Dongsu's territory. The mob boss is training when he hears a cop is messing with his business. Jiang calls the police chief immediately. He pays the cops a monthly cut to look the other way, so the chief calls Tae-seok and chews him out for interfering. But Tae-seok lies that he's already at the crime scene and hangs up. In reality, he only arrested the ticket scalper to use him as a bike taxi to cut through traffic. Upon arrival, he handcuffs the guy to the bike and walks off. At the scene, he finds a man stabbed dozens of times. The car is soaked in red, and the bloody handprints on the window show just how desperate the victim was in his final moments. Tae-seok notices a suspicious paint scratch on the rear bumper and snaps a photo. After analyzing the evidence, he reports to his captain that this is the work of a random serial killer. The stab wounds on the victims match perfectly, same length and width, confirming they were caused by the exact same blade. Even though Tae-seok tries to explain his theory, the captain refuses to listen. Instead, he chews him out for raiding the gangster's turf earlier and kicks him off the case, leaving Tae-seok furious. It was getting late, so Jiang Dongsu sent his men ahead and decided to drive home alone. However, while driving, he gets rear-ended by a car. Jiang steps out to check the damage. The mysterious driver apologizes, blaming the slippery road for not braking in time. Since money is no object to him and the car isn't badly damaged, Jiang waves the guy off. But as soon as he turns to get back in his car, the stranger lunges and stabs him. Luckily, Jiang manages to block the second strike and throws the attacker backward. Although the killer has the weapon advantage, he picked the wrong target tonight. He messed with a heavyweight mob boss. Jiang wrestles the knife away and stabs the attacker in the chest. Realizing he is outmatched, the killer jumps back in his car, runs Jiang over to escape, and speeds off. Due to excessive blood loss, Jiang faints in the middle of the road, but is luckily spotted by a passerby and rushed to the emergency room. Hearing the news, his gang assumes it was a hit by a rival mob. Enraged, they launch a brutal surprise attack on their enemies, catching them completely off guard. Meanwhile, the mysterious killer hides in the woods and staples his own chest wound shut. Since he failed to take Jiang's life, he hunts down another victim to continue his killing spree. Back at the hospital, Jiang survives the critical window and wakes up. His subordinate reports the retaliation attack, but Zhang tells him that it wasn't the work of a rival gang. Based on his moves, Zhang knew instantly this guy wasn't some street thug. He was a calculated killer. Luckily, Zhang caught the license plate number before passing out. He hands it to his crew with one order: find him at all costs for payback. Hearing that the mob boss got hit, Tae-seok rushes to the hospital, eager to squeeze him for intel. But Zhang keeps his mouth shut. He views the police as useless and arrogantly claims he'll catch the attacker long before the cops ever do. Frustrated and empty-handed, Tae-seok decides to investigate on his own. He sneaks into the parking lot to check Zhang's car. Sure enough, he finds a paint scratch on the rear bumper, identical to the mark on the previous victim's vehicle. Despite being a notorious crime lord in Cheonan, getting nearly killed by a random nobody caused his street cred to tank harder than crypto after a Fed announcement. To make matters worse, his rival, Sang-do, shows up to mock him. He laughs, saying that in 40 years, he's never seen a mob boss recovering in a hospital bed. Sang-do demands compensation for his territory getting trashed and medical bills for his injured men. Before leaving, he adds a final insult: "If I were you, I'd be too ashamed to even show my face." Meanwhile, Tae-seok pleads with the chief to let him work the case, presenting his theory, but the chief still doesn't buy it and kicks him out. That same night, the bloodshed continues. The killer ambushes a truck driver and hijacks the vehicle. But once inside, he finds a passenger sleeping in the back, and we all know what happens next. The next day, Zhang hires a sketch artist to draw the killer's face based on his memory, then hands the image to his crew to hunt him down. Tae-seok, not giving up, raids Yang's gambling dens again. He confronts the boss with evidence of illegal operations, using it as leverage to force him into a partnership. At first, Zhang refuses, but then Tae-seok drops the truth. The man who stabbed you is a serial killer. Unlike typical psychos who target women or the weak, this guy is different. He hunts anyone, even a crime lord. If we don't stop him now, more people are going to die. The attack didn't just hurt Zhang physically, it destroyed his business. With his reputation in the gutter, clients are canceling condo contracts and major investors are freezing their funds. It's a total financial disaster. To save his empire, Zhang needs to find the killer fast and restore his dominance. Good news arrives when his men locate the killer's car abandoned at a rest stop. The driver is long gone, but about 2 miles away they find a knife. Zhang recognizes it immediately. It belongs to the attacker. Realizing that forensics and evidence analysis aren't exactly a gangster's strong suit, Zhang calls Tae-seok for a sit-down. He hands over the killer's car keys and proposes a joint operation. Zhang's side will provide the manpower and funding, while Tae-seok handles the investigation. But there's a catch. Whoever catches him first keeps him. If the cops win, the killer goes to prison. But if the gangsters get him first, he enters a world of pain far worse than any jail cell, a punishment fitting for someone who dared to ruin a crime lord's reputation. Tae-seok agrees, taking the sketch and the evidence back to his station. He assembles a small skeleton crew with just 2 trusted partners to keep things quiet. Meanwhile, to ensure the investigation goes smoothly without interference, Zhang makes a ruthless move. He orders his men to take out his rival, Sang-do, using the serial killer's knife they found. When police search the scene, they find the knife deliberately left behind. The police chief is furious, mostly because his monthly bribe money from Sang-do just dried up, so he orders the team to solve the case at any cost. Forensics confirms the DNA on the knife matches the serial killer. But Tae-seok connects the dots instantly. He knows Zhang was the one who found that knife. Realizing it's a setup, he storms over to confront the mob boss. Tae-seok tries to beat a confession out of him, but ends up getting his ass handed to him by Zhang. Zhang calmly admits to ending Sang-do. His master plan? To turn the murder into a massive media sensation. He wants the police and the press to hunt the killer down, effectively flushing him out. Tae-seok hates the idea. He wanted a quiet investigation, knowing that once the media gets involved, major crimes will swoop in and steal all the credit. Sure enough, Sang-do's death becomes the #1 trending topic in the city. The news reaches the real killer, and he is livid. Since losing his knife at the rest stop, he hasn't been able to work, and now someone is copycatting his style. At Sangdo's funeral, the killer actually shows up. He knows Yang is pulling the strings, but he's not there to pay respects. He slips a note to Sangdo's right-hand man, clarifying that he didn't kill the boss, setting the record straight. Reading the note, Sangdo's right-hand man has a light bulb moment. He realizes the killer didn't take out his boss. It was Jang Dong-soo all along. Meanwhile, for the killer, it's business as usual. He picks up a brand new knife at a store, ready to resume his dark work. The next day, Jang and Tae-seok meet up to inspect the killer's car for clues. But suddenly, they are ambushed by Sangdo's crew, who surround them from all sides, out for blood and revenge. A brutal brawl breaks out. However, in a moment of distraction, he takes a heavy blow to the head. Though dazed, he remains alert enough to dodge the follow-up strikes. Tae-seok caught in the chaos. He gets pinned down and nearly stabbed, but in a desperate struggle, he pushes the attacker back, accidentally driving the man's own knife into his chest. Jang also finishes off the last attacker. When the dust settles, Tae-seok is shaken. He realizes he just took a life. Seeing the panic in the cop's eyes, Jang steps up and tells him to relax. He'll handle the cleanup. The next day, the chief dumps a new case on Tae-seok, a kidnapping involving a real estate tycoon. Already burnt out, Tae-seok is furious about juggling. Another investigation, but he has no choice. He sets up a sting operation at the ransom drop-off. But the victim's wife is a nervous wreck. Terrified, she hands the money bag to a random restaurant owner instead of the target. To make matters worse, she keeps glancing over at Tae-seok's hiding spot, effectively blowing his cover to everyone in the vicinity. Tae-seok stands up and accidentally spots a man lurking nearby. Seeing that he's been exposed, the stranger immediately turns to flee. Identifying him as a highly suspicious target, Tae-seok screams for his team to give chase. But the man is fast. He uses the complex maze of alleyways to his advantage. Despite splitting up to cut him off, the team loses him in the chaos. Tae-seok interrogates the restaurant owner who took the bag. She admits a stranger paid her to accept it. The trail is cold, and the only lead is a liquor bottle the killer drank from while waiting. But there's a problem. The bottle is already buried in a local landfill. Finding it now would be like looking for a needle in a haystack. Back at the station, a breakthrough finally happens. A female colleague reports a match on a fingerprint found on the steering wheel. She identifies a suspect and gives Tae-seok an address. Tae-seok rushes to the location. The landlady reveals the tenant hasn't been back in 3 months, though he still pays rent on time. So she keeps the room for him. Tae-seok enters the apartment. It's a creepy sight. The room is flanked by fish tanks thick with green moss, and on the wall hangs a 19th century Western classical painting, giving the place a strange, eerie vibe. In the desk drawer, Tae-seok finds many bottles of sodium hydroxide. However, the most critical clue in this room is the landlord's family photo. When placed alongside the sketch Jang Dong-soo provided, it's a perfect match. This is undoubtedly the man both sides are hunting. Tae-seok immediately calls Jang Dong-soo to update him and plays the voice recording obtained from the kidnapping victim's house during the previous investigation. Hearing the voice, the boss instantly recognizes it as the man he has been searching for all this time. For the first time, the organization and the police sit in the same room to investigate together. However, tensions rise, leading to a physical altercation. But since they are in the same boat, they quickly settle down and mobilize. Their goal is to find the man in the photo at all costs. They split into teams of 5 to move covertly. If one team spots him, they are to signal everyone to converge and capture him. They scour every single person, housing unit, motel, market, and public space. Despite searching nearly the entire city for days, there is still no trace of him. One rainy day, while Jang Dong-soo is waiting for his men to pick him up, he sees a high school student also waiting for the bus nearby. Seeing her getting soaked, Jang kindly gives her his umbrella. However, the moment the student steps onto the bus, I am shocked to see the target sitting right inside. Inevitably, the tragedy happens. News reaches Jang Dong-soo that the student was attacked on her way home. Seeing the umbrella at the scene, the boss is devastated to realize it was the girl from the morning. Losing all appetite, Jang immediately orders his men to take action, searching everything near bus route 32. At this time, the boss, Tae-seok, and his men are staking out a deserted road. Suddenly, a white car drives in slowly. It's none other than the target looking for prey. Realizing he has been discovered, he slams on the gas to escape. The boss and Tae-seok immediately give chase. However, in this pursuit, they are no longer partners but wolves fighting over a single prize. As agreed, whoever catches the prey gets to keep it. But in his attempt to cut off the target without watching the road, Tae-seok crashes straight into a roadside food stall. Now, only Jang Dong-soo is left chasing, refusing to let the prey escape. Unexpectedly, at an intersection, all three cars crash into each other. However, when they rush to the car, the suspect has already fled. The three quickly pursue him, but it becomes difficult as he slips into the dark alleyways. Oh-sung is taken out by the target the moment he runs into a dark path. Following the trail, Jang Dong-soo runs into a karaoke bar. Although he searches the rooms, he can't find him. Suddenly, he notices two girls looking terrified. Knowing the target is in the restroom, Jang immediately kicks the door open and pins him down. He unleashes strikes so powerful they break the door. Taking too much damage, the suspect can no longer resist. The prize officially belongs to the boss. Jang Dong-soo doesn't forget to call Tae-seok to announce the news, which infuriates the cop. Tae-seok quickly calls his team to find Jang immediately. The suspect is truly unstable. Even now, he is still smiling brightly. Just as Jang Dong-soo prepares to deliver his own justice, Tae-seok speeds in and rams his car straight into Jang, knocking him unconscious on the spot. He then quickly takes the suspect to the police station. The next day, news breaks that the police have caught the serial criminal. The media and the victims' families gather in large numbers in front of the station. Inside, the suspect shows no fear, calmly eating breakfast and watching news about himself. However, the next news report is the real shocker. The boss's entire crew has been arrested by the police for operating illegal gambling machines, and Jang Dong-soo is now a wanted man. The trial finally takes place, but the prosecution struggles. With no direct evidence linking the suspect to the crimes, the victims' families are heartbroken, unable to see justice served. The defendant knows he has the upper hand and sits there with a smug look. Even the knife is useless without proof confirming ownership. The final resort to nail this criminal is the only victim who survived the attack to stand as a witness. And that witness is none other than Jang Dong-soo. Now, to understand why he is a wanted man yet still shows up at this trial, we need to go back to last night. Tae-seok tracks down Jang, furious about having his operation ruined and his prize stolen. Jang strikes the detective repeatedly. But Tae-seok brings out the recording where Jang admits to eliminating Sang-do to threaten him. If this leaks, they both go down. Jang for the crime and Tae-seok for colluding with the Underworld. Desperate, the cop begs Jang to turn himself in and testify, or the target walks free. And that is why Jang Dong-soo stands in the courtroom today. To start proving his case, Jang Dong-soo removes his shirt, pointing to the scars while describing the moment of the attack. He then forces Kyung-ho to remove his shirt as well, revealing a scar on his left chest, where Jang had struck him. Then, Jang produces a piece of paper, the note the target had previously sent to Sang-do's henchman, attempting to prove that he was not the one who took out Sang-do. However, this ultimately leads to Jang receiving a life sentence, as he eventually confesses that he was the one who eliminated Sang-do to ensure the target's conviction. The gamble pays off. Kyung-ho is officially sentenced to death thanks to the success of the investigation. Tae-seok's team receives a major promotion. As for Jang Dong-soo, he has lost nearly everything. His crew has been arrested, and his loyal right-hand man was taken out by the target. So, getting locked up was his plan all along. He wants to punish Kyung-ho before the state executes him, but perhaps Jang won't wait for the law. He intends to be the executioner himself.